Good evening and a very warm welcome to the news on Sansad TV. I'm Bhawna Nayar. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll take a look at all the latest from India and across the world. Over the top headlines, 5 first this Monday evening. India attaining freedom from mentality of slavery, Prime Minister Modi says in his address at the first Veer Bal Divas, asserts New India correcting mistakes of the past. Union Health Minister holds meeting with IMA doctors, experts on COVID-19 management, mock drills to be held in hospitals across the country tomorrow. 5 foreigners test COVID positive on arrival in Bodh Gaya. Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachand is sworn in as Nepal's new Prime Minister by President Vidya Devi Bhandari. 3 Deputy Prime Ministers also take oath. Cold wave tightens grip in Jammu and Kashmir. Temperature dropped to below 0 degrees in most places. North India, including national capital, to reel under intense cold, dense fog. Extreme cold conditions hit several parts of the world. Arctic storm kills 38 in the United States and Canada. 17 die in massive snowstorm in Japan. And over to some speed news now. India in its G20 presidency will call for modernization of systems and advanced transparency to better use data for development, says India's G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant. Union Minister of State for Home Nityanand Rai asserts all minority groups secure in India more than anywhere else in the world. Government of India's Culture Ministry organizing essay writing competition to introduce children to the acts of courage and patriotism of Sahibzades. Essays could be submitted by 5th of January. India's exports of agriculture and allied goods grew by close to 12% to over $30 billion in the first 7 months of the current financial, from April to October. Rahul Gandhi visits memorials of Mahatma Gandhi and several former prime ministers. Apart from Rajghat, Rahul also visits Veer Bhumi, Shakti Sthal, Shantivan and Vijay Ghat. Increasing retirement age of Supreme Court and High Court judges could extend the service of non-performing judges, Parliamentary panel told by Department of Justice. Racially motivated attack on the Kurdish community on Friday leads to violent protest in Paris on Sunday. Vehicles overturned and set on fire. Amid COVID-19 pandemic and economic down spiral, 20 million people aged 16 to 24 in China out of work, says report. China staging one of its biggest incursions in the seas and skies around Taiwan, says the island's defense ministry, insists 71 Chinese Air Force planes and drones enter Taiwan's air defense zone. And 5 top NGOs halt work in Afghanistan after women's staff are banned from working for them by the Taliban. And the lead story of the day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India needs to break free from the narrow views of the past to rise to heights of success. Speaking at the first Veer Bal Divas event, Prime Minister Modi paid tributes to the sons of Guru Gobind Singh, Zorawar Singh and Fateh Singh, who laid down their lives while defending their faith. Prime Minister lamented that their sacrifice and valour was forgotten in history. However, he asserted that the new India is correcting these mistakes. He said that the Veer Bal Divas will inspire us to recognize our past and make our future. This will also remind everyone about the strength of our young generation. Let's listen in.
आस्था और आध्यात्म की परंपरा नहीं है, ये एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत के विचार का भी प्रेरणा पुंज है। हमारे पवित्र गुरु ग्रंथ साहब से बड़ा इसका उदाहरण और क्या हो सकता है। इसमें सिख गुरुओं के साथ साथ भारत के अलग अलग कोणों से 15 संतों और 14 रचनाकारों की वाणी समाहित है। इसी तरह आप गुरु गोविंद सिंह जी की जीवन यात्रा को भी देखिए। उनका जन्म पूर्वी भारत में पटना में हुआ। उनका कार्यक्षेत्र उत्तर पश्चिमी भारत के पहाड़ी अंचलों में रहा और उनकी जीवन यात्रा महाराष्ट्र में पूरी हुई।
The Prime Minister said in the name of history, people were being taught versions which promoted inferiority complex among them. He reiterated that to move forward in the Amrit Kal and to take India to the heights of success in the future, we have to break free from narrow views of the past.
दशकों पहले हुई एक पुरानी भूल को सुधार रहा है। किसी भी राष्ट्र की पहचान उसके सिद्धांतों, मूल्यों और आदर्शों से होती है। हमने इतिहास में देखा है, जब किसी राष्ट्र के मूल्य बदल जाते हैं तो कुछ ही समय में उसका भविष्य भी बदल जाता है। और ये मूल्य सुरक्षित तब रहते हैं जब वर्तमान पीढ़ी के सामने अपने अतीत के आदर्श स्पष्ट होते हैं। युवा पीढ़ी को आगे बढ़ने के लिए हमेशा रोल मॉडल्स की जरूरत होती है। युवा पीढ़ी को सीखने और प्रेरणा लेने के लिए महान व्यक्तित्व वाले नायक नायिकाओं की जरूरत होती है।
Prime Minister Modi also listened to Shabad Kirtan recited by school children at the event. On the occasion of Guru Gobind Singh's birth anniversary on January 9 this year, the Prime Minister had announced that December 26 will be observed as Veer Bal Divas. Moving on to some other important stories now, the government is closely monitoring the COVID-19 situation in the country. Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia said that today he held a meeting with doctors and public health experts from the Indian Medical Association today regarding COVID-19 management. The minister urged the doctors and members of IMA to continue to spread authentic information about COVID-19. A mock drill will be held tomorrow across a number of health facilities in several states and union territories to ensure that their readiness to deal with any eventuality related to COVID-19. The exercise will focus on parameters such as availability of health facilities in all districts, capacity of isolation beds, oxygen supported beds, ICU beds and ventilator supported beds. It will also evaluate optimal availability of doctors, nurses, paramedics, Ayush doctors and other frontline workers, including Asha and Anganwadi workers. Meanwhile, pharmaceutical company Hitiro said that today that it has received WHO pre-qualification approval for the generic version of its COVID-19 oral antiviral treatment candidate, Nirmatrelivir. 5 foreign nationals, 4 of them from Thailand and 1 from Myanmar, have tested positive for COVID-19 upon arrival in Bodh Gaya in Bihar. The foreigners were tested at the international airport in the weekend as part of a drill. Altogether, 33 foreigners were tested during the weekend, out of whom 5, including 4 females, have tested positive. The infected persons are in the age group of 35 to 75 years. Their condition is stable and they have been kept in isolation at the hotel that they checked in. In view of the fresh cases, testing has been intensified at the airport and the Gaya railway station. And talking about cold wave that's gripping across many parts of the nation. A cold wave is sweeping through North India, causing dense fog and a sharp drop in temperatures. In Delhi, thick layer of fog lowered visibility to 50 meters in some areas of the city, affecting road and rail traffic. The Safdarjung Observatory logged a minimum temperature of 5 degrees Celsius, 3 notches below normal. The maximum temperature is likely to settle around 19 degrees Celsius, the weather office said. The mercury had dropped to 3 degrees Celsius in the ridge area, making it the coldest place in the capital. Dense to very dense fog prevailed in some parts of the national capital region, Haryana, Punjab, West Uttar Pradesh and North Rajasthan on Monday. Bhatinda in Punjab and Bikaner in Rajasthan reported zero visibility, while it dropped to 50 meters and below at Ambala, Hisar, Amritsar, Patiala, Ganganagar, Churu and Bareilly. Foggy conditions will persist in these areas over the next few days, the India Meteorological Department said.
Northwest India में पंजाब, हरियाणा, इंक्लूडिंग दिल्ली, नॉर्थ राजस्थान में टेम्परेचर 4 डिग्री से कम है. इवन नॉर्थ राजस्थान में नियर 0 डिग्री भी है. तो ये कंडीशंस अभी आने वाले 24 घंटों में कंटिन्यू करेगी. उसके बाद हम एक वेस्टर्न डिस्टर्बेंस एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं, जिसके कारण प्लेन्स को तो वो ज़्यादा अफेक्ट नहीं करेगा, लेकिन टेम्परेचर्स को अफेक्ट करेगा. उसके कारण ये जम्मू कश्मीर, हिमाचल और उत्तराखंड में हल्का फुल्का स्नोफॉल रहने की उम्मीद है. तो उसके बाद ये टेम्परेचर्स मिनिमम राइज कर जाएंगे. लेकिन जैसे अगर आप दिल्ली की भी बात करें, आज भी दिल्ली काफ़ी ठंडी हवा चल रही है, डे टेम्परेचर्स कम है. ये कोल्ड डे के कारण है. कोल्ड डे में हम क्या कंसिडर करते हैं, जो मैक्सिमम टेम्परेचर्स हैं वो आपके नॉर्मल से 4.5 डिग्री कम है. तो उस केस में और मिनिमम 10 डिग्री होने चाहिए. तो वो कंडीशंस अभी प्रिवेल कर रही हैं, कल भी थी और हम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं आज भी कंटिन्यू करेगी और इसके बाद अवेट हो जाएगी, बिन खत्म हो जाएगी.
Intense cold conditions prevail in Jammu and Kashmir also, with minimum temperature in most places remaining below 0 degrees Celsius. According to the Meteorological Department, the weather is likely to remain dry in the valley till the end of December. Although there is a possibility of light rain this week, there is no chance of heavy rain. Due to the cold, water in the pipelines froze in many areas. Parts of the Dal Lake have also frozen. The minimum temperature in Srinagar was minus 3.5 degrees Celsius from minus 5.8 degrees Celsius on Saturday night. The period of Chilla Kala is still going on in Kashmir. The Chilla Kala phase will end on January 30th. And time now for a quick look now at some more important news from across the nation. President Draupadi Murmu is on a 5-day visit to Telangana and Andhra Pradesh as part of the annual Southern Sojourn. The President today offered prayers at the Srivastava temple in Andhra Pradesh. She also inaugurated a development project at Srivastava temple. The Southern Sojourn has been a custom since the 1950s. The President visit to Hyderabad for a brief stay in December. Rashtrapati Nilayam at Secunderabad has been chosen for the winter retreat. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky said today that he had a telephonic conversation with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, adding that during the call he wished India a successful presidency of the G20. In his tweet, Zelensky also mentioned about a peace formula that he counted on India's participation in its implementation. He also thanked Prime Minister Modi for humanitarian aid and support in the United Nations. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman was admitted at New Delhi AIIMS today for a routine checkup and a minor stomach infection. The 63-year-old, who was admitted around noon, was also running a fever. Her condition is reported to be stable. The minister has been put through a series of tests. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla inaugurated a blanket bank at Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital in New Delhi today. The blanket bank was organized by Aao Saath Chale Social Service Organization. The Lok Sabha Speaker said on the occasion that though the government tries its level best to arrange for the basic needs of the people, the society in general still needs to come forward and help the needy. A drone which flew into India from Pakistan was shot down by the Border Security Force along the international border in Punjab. The unmanned aerial vehicle was intercepted and fired upon near Rajatal village in Amritsar. At least 3 such Pakistani drones have been shot down by the border force last week in Punjab. The CBI today arrested Videocon Group founder Venugopal Dhoot in connection with the ICICI bank loan fraud case. The 71-year-old Dhoot was arrested from Mumbai hours before former CEO and MD of the ICICI bank, Chanda Kochar, and her husband Deepak Kochar were to be produced before a special court for a remand hearing. The CBI is planning to file a charge sheet against the 3 and other suspects soon. Slipping into a very short break here, lots more coming up on the other side. Do stay tuned to Sansad TV for more news.
The glorious journey of India's 75 years of independence, protection of rights, ensuring equality, to empower, to deliver justice. Laws that have defined India and its people, laws that everyone should know. Watch 75 years, laws that shaped India. With me, Hemant Batra, only on Sansad TV.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching the news and time to look at the latest developments from the Russia-Ukraine war front. Russian President Vladimir Putin has claimed that Russia is ready for talks to end the war in Ukraine, even as the country faced more attacks from Moscow. Putin said that in a state television interview that Russia is prepared to negotiate some acceptable outcomes with all the participants of this process. He also said that it's not that Russia is refusing talks, but Ukraine. Putin also repeated that Moscow had no other choice and said he believed that Kremlin was acting in the right direction. He added that he was defending Russia's national interests. Dozens of Ukrainian soldiers celebrated Christmas Day at a church in the northeastern city of Kharkiv on Sunday. Ukraine's scout organization PLUST handed over the peace light of Bethlehem to the military personnel. After the service, soldiers took the flame to their position on the front line. The flame, which symbolizes peace, is lit at the birthplace of Jesus Christ and tours different countries every year in the run-up to Christmas. Before arriving at Kharkiv, President Volodymyr Zelensky had received the iconic lamp in Kyiv. Moscow is aiming to make the rest of 2022 dark and difficult for Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelensky said in an evening address on Sunday. He said that the nation must be ready for any scenario. He also extended Christmas greetings to those celebrating it on the 25th December. Most Ukrainians are Orthodox Christians and mark Christmas in early January, although some celebrate it on 25th December. He also thanked all Ukrainians for its resilience. The eastern Ukrainian city of Bakhmut withstood multiple explosions and constant shelling on Sunday. Wrecked apartment blocks, fire and thick grey smoke rising over residential area were seen in the city on Christmas Day. The city of Bakhmut has become the target of Russian attempts to advance in recent weeks. The Russian military said that it shot down a Ukrainian drone approaching an airbase deep inside Russia. Russia's defense ministry said the incident took place in the early hours on Monday. 3 servicemen were killed by debris at the Engels Air Base that houses the nuclear-capable strategic bombers that have been involved in launching strikes on Ukraine. Engels is located in Russia's Saratov region on the Volga River, more than 600 kilometers east of the border with Ukraine. It is the second time the airbase has been targeted this month. And news now from across the globe. Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda has been sworn in as the Prime Minister of Nepal for a third time. Prachand took the oath of office and secrecy from President Bhandari at an official ceremony at Sheetal Nivas. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Prachand on being appointed the 44th Prime Minister of Nepal. Prachand had submitted a letter to President Bidya Devi Bhandari showing support of 169 members. President Bhandari also administered the oath to other cabinet ministers, members of the new coalition government. The Dyuba-led Nepali Congress is the largest party with 89 seats in the House of Representatives, while the CPN-UML and the CPN-MC have 78 and 32 seats respectively. Prachand will now have to win a vote of trust from the lower house within 30 days. And some more international news now. The brutal Arctic storm continues to claim lives in the United States. Latest reports say that 48 people have died, including 27 in western New York. The massive snowstorm is likely to continue into the week, leaving people to battle the extreme cold, power outages and hampering rescue and relief efforts.
A deep freeze has left the United States paralyzed during the holiday season. Buffalo in New York is the worst hit, pummeled by a deadly blizzard on Christmas Day. Adding to the woes of the winter storm, the blizzard trapped people in their cars, caused power outages, paralyzed emergency efforts and claimed more lives. The snow total at the Buffalo Niagara International Airport stood at 109 centimeters Sunday morning. New York Governor Kathy Hochul called it the most devastating storm in Buffalo's history. She also said that Biden administration has supported the state's request for federal disaster declaration. The scope of the storm has been unprecedented, stretching from the Great Lakes near Canada to the Rio Grande along the border with Mexico. Hundreds of flights have been cancelled and more are expected. The National Weather Service said that about 60% of the US population faced some sort of winter weather advisory or warning. However, heat and lights were steadily being restored across the US. According to poweroutage.us, less than 2 lakh customers were without power on Sunday, down from a peak of 107 million. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
And more international news in Global Wrap now. Flash floods hit Gingoong city in the Philippines on Christmas Day. Authorities said on Monday that around 9 people were believed to be dead while 176 others had been rescued from the floods. Around 44,000 people have been displaced by the floods. Rescue workers and volunteers helped move children and infants along with men and women from their homes. Residents tried to salvage some of their belongings from their submerged homes during a Philippine Red Cross organized search and rescue operation. Former Maldives President Abdullah Yameen will appeal as soon as possible against his conviction and jailing for 11 years on corruption and money laundering charges. He was sent to a prison on Mafushi Island on Sunday to start his sentence following the order from the Maldives Criminal Court. The 63-year-old has denied any wrongdoing and will serve his time in a special compound in the prison, which has been previously used to jail other high-profile politicians. The opposition Progressive Party of Maldives said that Yameen will remain in the party's presidential candidate for the 2023 election. Authorities in China are going door-to-door urging people older than 60 to get vaccinated against COVID-19. Beijing has renewed its vaccination drive as it tries to handle a wave of infections nationwide after the easing of its zero-COVID strategy. However, many of the senior citizens remain hesitant, citing a fear of side effects. More than 90% of people in China have been vaccinated, but only about two-thirds of those over 80. China has 191 million people aged 65 and over. Experts have forecast 1 to 2 million deaths in China by the end of the next year. 5 North Korean drones crossed into South Korea on Monday. South Korea responded by scrambling jets and attack helicopters and opening fire to try to shoot down the North Korean aircraft. The South Korea military said that the drones were tracked while crossing over the military demarcation line between the two countries in the skies of the western city of Gimpo at around 10:25 am. The border intrusion by North Korean drones is a clear act of provocation, a South Korean military official said. As part of its response, the South Korea military also sent surveillance aircraft into the north to photograph its military installations, the official added. And heavy snow in large parts of Japan since last week has killed 17 and injured more than 90 people. The snow has also left hundreds of homes without power and hundreds of vehicles stranded on highways. More snowfall over the Christmas weekend caused more casualties. Many of them were killed or injured after falling while removing snow from the roofs or buried underneath thick piles of falling rooftop snow. Many parts of northeastern Japan reportedly had 3 times as much snow compared to their average snowfall this season. And now let's see what's happening in the world of sports. Australia put a strong bowling performance to skittle out South Africa for 189 in the first innings of the Boxing Day Test match, and they won at 45 for 1. Australian all-rounder Cameron Green takes first 5-wicket haul in Test cricket to restrict South Africa, has career best figures of 5 for 27 in South Africa's first innings. South African captain Dean Alger completes 5,000 runs in Test cricket. Alger has 5,002 runs in 81 Tests at an average of 38.18. He has 13 Test centuries and 22 half-centuries. Pakistan scored 317 for 5 on the opening day of the first Test against New Zealand played in Karachi. 196 runs, 5th wicket partnership between Babar Azam and Sarfaraz Ahmed helps Home team recovered from 110 for 4. And Pakistan captain Babar Azam scores 9th Test century, is not out on 161 at stumps on day 1 of the Karachi Test. And with that, it's a wrap of today's bulletin. Do stay tuned to Sansad TV for more news and updates. Thank you for watching. Good night. Namaskar.